want to talk about it. It's still Women's Month, and I want to talk about mothers who have children with a disability. Or, let me put it even more specifically, I want to talk about and honor mothers who have sons with autism. Yes. And so just want to do a little bit of talking. I want to talk about it. I was with Jeremiah today and I said, hey, let's talk about this topic. And I just want to say we're going to move it on a little bit further and we're going to do Jeremiah's journey. And so, those of you that would like to follow us as we continue on with this series, and we'll talk more about Jeremiah's journey through and with autism from the time that he was a child up to now being a young man. And so I really want many of you all to hit us up or put something in the message or DM me if you are really interested in being a part of a group of moms with sons who have a disability, especially if they are on the autism spectrum. Me and Jeremiah is definitely thinking about starting a group where we can minister to, help, encourage, empower not only the moms, but the sons, especially if the sons are teenagers, becoming young men, and adults with autism, so that we can help them find their awesome niche, their awesome space in the world, in society, um, where their autism can shine and their genius can come through. Because really, in all actuality, autism does have a level of genius attached to it, and that they just can see the world and they respond to the world in a more genius way in certain areas. I mean, I'm gonna let Jeremiah kind of talk about some of those people that you may be surprised about who have autism. But let me say this, moms. It has been noted that roughly about one out of every 44 children will have autism or will be, I should say, on the autism spectrum. And it is not easy to be a woman in charge, a woman in leadership or in a leadership position, or a woman who is the head of your household, raising other children and a child with special needs, especially autism or on the autism spectrum. And so we want to celebrate you. We want to honor you. We want to say this is Women's Month and we want you to be encouraged because the road is not easy. The road is not short. Um, and no one, they don't come with a manual. No one ever gives you instructions. And all children, adults, young adults, teenagers with autism respond differently, act differently. And so no mother with a child that has special needs or autism um, will have the same story, will have the same situations. Some of the things will be similar and or alike, but they'll never be exactly the same. So I brought Jeremiah on with me today because I just wanted to get started even with his journey a little bit and talk about being his mom, what it was like. And I want to talk about, because I don't think people realize the strength, the tenacity, the perseverance, the courage that moms have when they have a child that has special needs. Again, i.e., specifically autism in our instance, and how she's a protector, an advocator. She has to help be a navigator, a social, mediator sometimes for her child. And I'm especially talking to some of you moms and women who are in leadership positions or who are your head of your household or who feel like you have it going on and really don't. You kind of sense that there's something a little bit different about your child, but you don't want to accept or you don't want to label your child with autism, or whatever it may be. And I want to encourage you to be brave, be strong, and find out if there is something wrong. Does your child or your son need extra help, assistance, guidance, support, aid? There's nothing wrong with that. But I think even myself and Jeremiah, there was a time where we may have struggled. Myself as the mother, accepting, and I think even him as a young person, a young adult, also accepting it. So, is denial common? Absolutely. Absolutely. But you want to move past it so that you can help. Because if we stay in that place of denial too long, then we won't find the necessary assistance, tools, support, and aid and assistance for our sons that they are going to need to navigate through and to advocate, not only needing the mom to advocate, but getting to a place in their life where they advocate for themselves. And I want Jeremiah to talk about that a little bit. Um, when did you feel like you needed to start, or you were ready to start advocating for yourself? And how easy was it for you to make that transition?
Growing up, I had to start advocating myself, maybe like in high school, and college and stuff, telling people what I need. It's not really easy. People really don't listen too much very well. There's a few that do. You just got to keep letting people know that you need help sometimes, and sometimes it can be annoying
Hmm.
and weary, and sometimes you just feel like if people want to help you, they would. You don't always need to have to ask it all the time, but I guess sometimes people can't help you if they get the notification that you need help sometimes. So it's tough to advocate for yourself sometimes. It just takes practice. You just got to know when to ask help from the right person at the right time.
Absolutely. And so, because sometimes as moms, we got to know when to move out of the way, you know, even when they do have autism or disability, to let them be more, what's the word? Um,
Independent.
yes, thank you, Jeremiah. More independent. And I know a lot of times we as moms, strong women, we just don't want to give them that independence, thinking that someone may take advantage of them. They may make a mistake, or maybe they may not understand it well. They don't read in between the lines well. They don't see the gray areas well. And so, but in some instances, would you say the same, that we really, as moms, we need to learn when to?
Yeah, and when to let your child venture out every once in a while, test the waters, and it does help with their growth to let them see how far they can go on their own sometimes.
So let me ask you this question. And this is Deitre's diary, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about Jeremiah's journey. So I know when you graduated from high school and you went to college for the first time, and I wasn't able to be there with you, and you know that was kind of like your first time really being away from having your mom
Mm-hmm.
support or advocating for you or speaking up for you or telling you what to do or speaking to your teachers and things of that nature. How do you feel that went? And I know at that time you were probably about like 18 or whatever, but how do you feel like if you had to like really talk about that? Um, because that was the first time of I guess kind of like cutting a string, and I didn't mean totally cut the string. I had some kind of you know hand in it, but I couldn't have a whole lot of hand on it because you were in a totally different state. You were in college, and I mean, it's not like coming up to someone's high school, saying, "Hey, can I talk to when they're in college?" So just talk to us a little bit about not so much your experience there, but how you felt when you kind of knew. your mom wasn't going to be able to help you anymore as much, or that you weren't even close enough to get any help if you needed it. You have any feelings about that, or remember any thoughts or emotions you might have had around that?
Um, it was that year was just tough all the way around. It seemed like nobody understood me, and the people that was willing to understand me was very few. You couldn't do really much help. Is I remember coming to people for help and not getting it. It's hard to ask for people for help sometimes. It's just I just don't like the memory of that year. I try to advocate for myself. I try to go to coaches and see a therapist, and it's just the people.
Weren't really receptive or helpful, or
Not at all. No, it sucks. It sucks when you feel like no one really cares about you or your problem, and you really do try to seek help, even in a sinking ship. You seem like it was just a massive disaster. Uh,
let me ask you this though. Were you, I know at that time you were younger, you were 18, you're much more mature now, in how to handle your disability. But do you think even at that time were you even still yet embarrassed to kind of let people fully know that you needed
There was
help? Or
nothing. I went to my teammates and told them straight out. I still remember to this day, one of my teammates still called me a liar to my face, saying I lied about my autism. I said it just to get special attention
oh, but you know why they said that, right?
because they didn't care about me.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't say that. But I'll say this, even to my audience, that's one of the things with people that are high functioning and have autism. We tend to go, oh, there's nothing wrong with them. Oh, he can handle it. He's just being lazy. Oh, he doesn't. He just don't want to do it. Oh, you're babying him, and he can. You gotta let him go, and you gotta get him off the breast. I'm sorry for my vernacular, but I'm just letting you know what people do. And because we see that they are so high functioning, Jeremiah is even reminiscing to tears now about an incident where a teammate said to him, "You lied. You lied on your application. You don't really have autism." And I don't think it's because, you know, he wanted to do that or be mean. I just think he couldn't see nothing wrong with him. And in some instances, that is the case. And they slip through the cracks, they fall through the hole. People don't want to assist them and help them, give them the counsel. And that's why the mama bear and the she bear has to show up, and say, no, this is what it is. But when they start becoming 21 and 22 and 23 and 24 and 25, it's kind of hard for the mama bear to show up, when you're now dealing with a young man or a man who has to now still navigate through this world, who doesn't see him. See, it would have probably been more advantageous for Jeremiah to have been in a wheelchair with a more visible um, disability. He probably would have gotten a lot more assistance. He probably would have gotten a lot more attention. He would have gotten a lot more support and aid. But sometimes, a lot of times, in my son's case, and in my case, as that strong mom who has to see this happen to her son and realize, no, you all don't know the story. You're feeling like he's making this up, and you're feeling like he's just wanting help and he doesn't need any. No, 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 no. Let's not get it twisted. Because if that was the case, then that means the doctor that signed off on these papers
It's a liar
is a
too.
liar too.
And I wish he never. Part of me wish he never wrote it in the first place. To this day.
Why? Why do you say that?
Mm.
I mean, so then the person feels like this. and I'm sorry, this is raw and uncut. We did not rehearse this. So you're hearing his actual feelings, that sometimes he's saying he wished that he had never gotten the diagnosis, you know? But then people would have always said, well, he doesn't look like anything's wrong with him, but there's something, a little different about him, something a little special about him, or whatever have you. And I think having autism is awesome. I mean, like, name some people that that have autism that are like millionaires and like really famous people right now. Like,
No one really came out, but y'all been showing me videos and stuff. I know there's this Formula One racer that got autism. He's doing good.
I thought, what does Elon Musk have?
I
What
don't know. Not autism. He's not coming out with that. Um, I don't
what does
know.
Albert Einstein have
I don't
or
think it's aut.
had?
I don't think it was autism either.
But it was some type of disability, was it not?
There was a lot of people with disabilities and
I
red
mean,
lines and out there have issues and stuff.
uh-oh. If anybody knows any famous people that have autism, I'd like for you to put it in the chat. I know that I have looked up people before. I thought, Jeremiah, you knew more. Where's your phone? Pull it up. Famous people with autism. Billionaires with autism. Millionaires with autism. The sky is the limit. You don't let your disability become a limitation. Absolutely. And I've always taught Jeremiah that. And he's always, and still yet to this day, he is striving with that same mentality and doing great things even himself. And that's why I feel like it's good for other moms who are raising sons who have disabilities, and for other young men who have autism and disabilities, for them to come together and for them to support each other and for them to collaborate with each other and feed off of each other and empower each other and strengthen each other, because there is a genius, there is a strong strength about them that they have in a particular area that they are so laser focused on that they can get done, whereas other people, where we're more easily distracted and we're all over the place, um, that they have this laser focused mentality and obsession for something where they actually can see it to pass to the end. Anybody? Who we got? Name
Nikola,
some people.
Nikola Tesla,
Tesla.
Emily Dickinson.
Who's that?
Emily Dickinson.
Emily Dickinson. Writer, right?
Susan Boyle.
Susan Boyle.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. Tim Burton is a
movie director.
Movie director. Okay. Hello, Emmanuel.
Oh, you want more?
Yeah, who else we got? Some that people might know.
Albert Einstein.
I did say Albert Einstein had autism. I knew that one.
Bill Gates, they got on there.
Bill Gates is on the list with autism.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs is on the list with autism. You can Google this for yourself. He just Googled it on his own. So is it really like something we don't want people to know? Or is it something that really puts us in a class all by ourselves? But you have to see it like that. And I know Jeremiah's journey, when we really get to telling his story and hearing his story, it's been a rough road. I do not want anybody to get this twisted. It has been a rough road, not only for him, but for the mom. And we're acknowledging that it is a rough road for you, ma'am, mister, mother, father, the actual child, if it's a son or if it's a daughter. I feel compelled for moms who have sons with a disability, especially autism, so that we can help, that we can fight, that we can advocate, that we can get them into colleges that will aid them, support them, um, show them, be that advocate for them when they're not quite sure how to advocate for themselves. I'll let you know the transition from having your mom advocate for you in everything to advocating for yourself is not an easy transition. It's not an easy transition. It takes some practicing. I think Jeremiah used that word.
Mhm.
Key word. It takes some practicing. I think now, I mean, you're a better advocate for yourself now, though. I mean, probably not perfect advocate, but you're a much better advocate than you were when you were 18.
Yeah, I was.
Well, you mean you are, right? You
I
are
am.
more, yes.
I am
Uh-huh.
better.
Better now. Exactly. Exactly. So it takes practice. But mom, superwoman, superhero, I understand. But sometimes we have to let them go. Sometimes we have to let them shop on their own. We'll have to let them make some you know, some decisions on their own. Definitely with safety involved. I'm not going to let them make decisions that are unsafe and go, oh, Dr. D said just let them make their own decisions. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about decisions in areas of their life where they can start realizing that they have power, that they have thought process to think things through, think it out all the way to the end, and maybe they will need some assistance with things throughout life. But guess what? There's some young adults and children right now that don't have autism that still need guidance and support and assistance throughout their life. And so yeah. So if you as we close up here, if you had to speak to a mom right now because it's Women's Month and we're empowering women, talking to women, encouraging women. If you wanted to talk to that woman who has a son who has autism, if he be a teenager, a young adult, or a young man, what kind of advice or encouragement or words would you like to give that woman right now?
Just take it day by day. Try to understand them a little at a time, and just give them a chance to grow on their own as well. It will come. As slowly or surely it may come. Just take it one day at a time.
I like that. Take it one day at a time. Don't try to grow them up in a day. Well, I think another thing he said, try to understand them. Get some literature about autism, get some literature about some of their behaviors or some of the things that may work or may not work. Again, all children, all young adults, all young men with autism won't all be the same, but there will be some similarities. So everything in the books may not be cookie cutter, may not fit you, but there might be something that you could find that could help and could assist you and your son or your child. What was the other thing you said? Understand, take it day by day. Give them space and grace to grow on their own. I like that. Give them space and grace to grow on their own. I made a mistake. Hopefully not as long as I could have, but of always stepping in for Jeremiah, always making it work or fixing it or making it happen instead of really allowing him to do some on his own or a lot more on his own. And so little bit at a time. I think that's what Jeremiah said. Give them a little bit at a time, and let them master that and let them show that they can handle that and let them prove that they can advocate for themselves with that. Give them an opportunity to speak up for themselves instead of always speaking up for them. Say, well, ask him, or let him tell you what he'd like to do or say at this time, or whatever. And instead of every always jumping in again, I'm guilty, so I know what I'm talking about. I speak from experience. Well, no, I'll tell you that. Oh no, his ID number is. Oh no, he has 5 class. Well, he can answer some of those questions. Let him get used to speaking up for himself or answering for people or answering to people and letting them know that he can speak. He does have an opinion. He does have a thought process. Maybe it may not be the same thought process that we have, or the way we think, or the way we would have handled it, but at least let's see how they would have handled it, how they would have thought their way through it. You know, um, so I think Jeremiah gave some really great comments and advice to the super moms. Yes, woo, 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 woo. Shout out to you if you have a child who has a disability, especially autism. Um, and I want to talk about it more. I want you to leave in the chat if you're listening to it live, or if you're listening. I see so many of you on here. Baba Jinde, I hope I'm saying it right. Emmanuel, I see you. I see other people that are watching. Don't really see your name. Go ahead and type your name in. Let us know that you're listening. If you are a mom, or if you know a mom, share this video. Send it to them. If you're watching on YouTube, my YouTube channel, or if you're watching on my Facebook channel, or if you're right here with me in HAPS, share it. Let other people know. And if that mom wants to reach out to me, or she has a son and wants to reach out to Jeremiah, if you have a group, we do speak out on this topic. Myself and Jeremiah, we're more than willing to come out to your group, your school, a support group, whatever it is, your church, and speak on the topic of um, the journey of living with autism as the mom and as the actual person who many people say you're making it up. There's nothing wrong with you. And so we're not going to help you and we're not going to support you. And a lot of times they feel like they're alone, they're ostracized, and they are just in a world by themselves. But I know that there are more people out there with autism and that they're not in a world by themselves. So we can get them all together and group them together. Reach out to me and let me know. I'm really feeling that this is something that's on my heart. And this is my diary. This is my life. And I want to talk about it. All right. So I thank you all for coming with us this Monday. Jeremiah, you got any last words that you'd like to give to those that are watching and may watch the replay? If you're watching the replay, follow Jeremiah on Jeremiah Cotton on Facebook. You can also follow him. He's great at posting anything and everything motivational at Alpha Pack One. You can also follow him there, right, on social media. He's also on Instagram and YouTube as well. And more will be coming from him. And so we would love for you. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube and Twitter. So follow me as well, Dr. Deirtre Cotton. All right, Jeremiah, final words?
Thank y'all for watching and listening. I hope y'all enjoyed it and was inspired or moved by it, and we're going to try to make more.
You have a motivational quote you want to give people that you can think of right now?
We all have a chance and a choice. That's what every person is given.
Life. We all have a chance. And Jeremiah said, and we all have a choice. So choose wisely when your chance comes. All right. We love you guys. I'm Dr. Deirtre Cotton. This is Deitre's diary. I want to talk about it. And this is my son, who is awesomely and super amazing and also has autism, Jeremiah Cotton. And we'll be coming up with Jeremiah's journey really soon. So follow along, keep a lookout. Definitely DM us, send us a message. If you know someone, or if you're that woman, that special woman, it takes a special mom to raise a special child. If you're that special woman, give a shout out, send me a DM, send me a message, and we'll definitely get something started. Baba Jinda, thank you for the heart and the 4-leaf clover. Awesome. Love you guys. Bye bye.